As you probably know, the SEC accepted BlackRock's application for a spot Bitcoin ETF. This means they are starting the official review process. This is huge news, given the size as well as the importance of this company. BlackRock is an American multinational investment company based in New York City. Founded in 1988, it's the world's largest asset manager, with $9.4 trillion in assets under management. So it's kind of understandable what could mean for Bitcoin if a spot ETF would be approved. An ETF is an investment fund that tracks the price of an asset, like in this case Bitcoin. It's traded on exchanges, just like stock, and it opens up a whole new world of possibilities when it comes to investing in Bitcoin. BlackRock is a major player in the financial industry, so their entry into the Bitcoin ETF race is a big deal. It shows the growing acceptance and interest in crypto from traditional institutions. BlackRock's agreement with Coinbase for surveillance sharing is another interesting aspect. It's a sign that they are taking security and regulatory compliance seriously. The SEC's acceptance of BlackRock's application and other filings shows that they are actively exploring the idea of a Bitcoin ETF, and it's a positive step forward and a chance to assess different strategies and concerns. Canada already has approved Bitcoin ETFs, as well as the EU with its Jacobi Spot ETF, but the US is still catching up. The competition among companies vying to launch the first US Bitcoin ETF is heating up. The approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF in the US could have significant market effects. It may bring more investors into the crypto space and boost overall adoption. Exciting times for the crypto community. We'll have to wait and see if the SEC gives the green light to a spot Bitcoin ETF. But one thing is for sure, the crypto world is buzzing with anticipation. The Bitcoin market has undeniably come a long way as an asset class and form of payment over the past few years. A recent study conducted by AAA concluded that the number of cryptocurrency users worldwide has exceeded 420 million. However, compared to the total population of more than 7 billion, this is a negligible number among many other business enterprises that have not yet adopted digital assets for fast and secure payments. According to the crypto veteran and CEO of Galaxy Digital Holdings Limited, Mike Novogratz, mass adoption of Bitcoin is at hand thanks to increased institutional demand. Novogratz argues that the recent frenzy surrounding Bitcoin ETFs by huge investment fund managers is clear evidence that there is a pure demand for Bitcoin as an asset class. However, Novogratz said that the SEC needs a change in governance for the cryptocurrency industry to thrive alongside other markets. Novogratz further noted that the SEC has remained adamant about approving Bitcoin ETFs, despite a change in administration over the past few years. The SEC's current chairman, Gary Gensler, was largely seen as the crypto savior when he took office 2 years ago. However, Gensler has turned against most crypto projects, arguing that they should be brought under the Securities Act, which is slowly killing innovation and emerging technologies. Nonetheless, Novogratz expects that SEC to approve several Bitcoin ETFs that will mark the onset of mainstream adoption. Same opinion for Katie Hood, CEO of ARK Invest. Even Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the biggest asset management companies in the world, doesn't deny his interest in Bitcoin. Those are little hints that taken together will show the potential path for Bitcoin. Now let's summarize 6 potential reasons why we need a Bitcoin spot ETF. 1. Mainstream adoption and accessibility. A Bitcoin spot ETF offers an easy route for both retail and institutional investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin. 2. Regulatory legitimacy. When regulatory authorities approve a Bitcoin spot ETF, it signifies a level of acceptance and legitimization of Bitcoin within the traditional finance sector. 3. Liquidity. Trading at traditional stock exchanges, ETFs can bring liquidity to the Bitcoin market, potentially reducing its volatility. 4. Institutional interest. Many institutional investors are restricted from directly holding cryptocurrency. An ETF provides a compliant method for these institutions to invest in Bitcoin. 5. Infrastructure and custody. Establishing a spot ETF will generate more development of robust infrastructure for secure storage and management of the underlying Bitcoin, benefiting the wider crypto ecosystem. 6. Public perception. The existence of a Bitcoin ETF on major stock exchanges can increase public trust and interest in the asset, serving as a form of validation. In conclusion, a Bitcoin Spot ETF bridges the traditional financial sector with the burgeoning crypto ecosystem. However, clouds are at the horizon. For the Bitcoin price to go up, we need volumes and liquidity. Here is the threat. Global liquidity is down a massive 1 trillion over the last 10 weeks. Since the high in 2022, 4.2 trillion in global liquidity has dried up. We are now back down to pre-pandemic liquidity levels. After printing and handing out 4 trillion in stimulus while lowering rates to 0% overnight, the party is now over. There is no such thing as free money. Are we nearing a liquidity crisis? Probably yes. We have gone from trillions of stimulus to a highly restrictive Fed policy at a record pace. This is why affordability has also plummeted at a record pace. Liquidity is likely to continue contracting this year. Restrictive central banks are definitely a concern for this risk asset. Couple of potential offsets. Margin debt turning higher after dropping last year. Stimulus from fiscal spending making its way through the economy. There are now 10 active spot Bitcoin ETF applications since 1.5 trillion asset manager flanking Templeton filed theirs last September 13. There seems to be some misunderstanding about the potential BlackRock Bitcoin Spot ETF. If BlackRock believes their ETF will be approved, they will need to accumulate Bitcoin before the launch. This would be a fully regulated spot ETF, not a synthetic one. A spot ETF implies that every share issued must be backed 1-to-1 by real Bitcoin. Therefore, it's very likely that BlackRock is already accumulating, especially at these prices. For those wondering why the Bitcoin price isn't reflecting this, it's because they aren't merely clicking the buy button on Coinbase. They are instead purchasing OTC to avoid slippage. They make us spin like tops, confusing our ideas and leading us into error. Meanwhile, time passes and they build their positions well. Grayscale won't have an easy life, especially against the biggest ones, BlackRock and Vanguard, that, as you probably know, they are extremely connected to each other. In our opinion, which is not a financial advice, there is still a long way to go, and they will most likely still make us suffer, considering 2024 and its importance, with Bitcoin having US elections and many other major events. One thing is clear, compared to the past 7 years, the pressure for Bitcoin Spot ETF is getting higher and higher. It cannot be ignored for so long. This event, as we say already for a long time, might be the catalyst, or one of many, that will drive the next bull run.